same old place that you laughed about.
All right, well, welcome back. Hopefully you had a good break here, and as we come back into the swing of things here in algebra, we're going to start off with a topic that you've seen several times. You covered it a whole lot last year. We're just going to review real quick. We're going to look at graphing linear functions. Okay, so graphing linear functions. Well, we know linear functions, all of them are going to graph and they're going to look like a line. So we know it's going to be a straight line, but there's four different ways that we can look at them, four different ways that it can be presented to us to graph. So we're going to look at each one of those four and make sure that you can remember how to do it and that you're fluent in that, and we'll be using it over the next couple of weeks as we start talking about linear systems. So first thing is, well, let's look at it. And what happens if we have two coordinates? So we've got 2 points. Well, the good news is, to make a line, we only need 2 points. So the first thing we've got to do is plot these two. So look at the first one. We know that there's an x and there's a y. So 2 is on the x-axis. Well, here's our x-axis. Our y-axis is this one down here. So we're going to go start from the origin. That would be the center right here. We're going to go 2 to the right. So positive 2. And then we're going to go positive 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to put a point right there. So there's our first one. The next one, we go to positive 1. So we go back to the origin. We go to positive 1 on the x. And we go to negative 3. 1, 2, 3, negative 3. And then from there, we're just simply going to draw the line. We're going to draw the line that connects these 2 points here. I'm going to go ahead and plot that. It just has to go through each of those 2 points. So if I can get my line to turn around and go here, it's going to pass through each of those 2 points. We're not just going to connect the dots. It's not like connect the dots that you did when you were younger and may do in your spare time, but this one we are drawing lines, so we're going to draw and extend them through both of those, and we've just graphed that one using 2 points. Okay, so from there, let's look at, well, what happens if they give us this? They give us m is 1/2, and they give us this coordinate. Well, m is just a symbol, a way of representing the slope. Okay, so the slope, well, let's start with our first coordinate. So let's start with negative 2, negative 3. Remember, that's our x, that's our y. Here's our x-axis. So we start at the origin and we go negative 2, so negative 2 on the x, and we go negative 3 on the y. 1, 2, 3. So there's our first point there. Now we use our slope. Now, if you remember slope is rise over run. It's vertical change over horizontal change. Well, that says to get to our next point, we've got to, vertically, we've got to go up 1. We've got to rise 1. Horizontally, we've got to go over positive 2. We've got to run positive 2. Well, there's our next point. We've got enough. We could graph it right there if we wanted to, or we could keep going. We could go up 1 and go over 2 again, go up 1, over 2 as many times as we wanted here, in this case, just to plot it. And then from there, we're simply going to turn around and we're going to draw our line. Let's just go out through here. We're going to draw our line. It's going to pass through each of these points, and we'll just extend it out here, and there we go. We've just graphed this linear function based upon that slope and that point. So let's look at the third way. The third way is, well, what if they give us an equation? Well, an equation, well, this equation is written in y equals mx plus b. Well, we just said a minute ago that the m is the slope. It gets us from one point to the next. So the question is, what in the world is b? Well, if you remember, b is our y-intercept. So this right here, this 6, is our y-intercept. Well, that's where it crosses the y-axis. Well, here's our y-axis. It says it's going to cross it at 6. So go back to our origin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our point. Now our slope says that we're going to change vertically. We're going to change 2, our negative 2. So that means we go down 2 and we go to the right 1, because negative 2 is the same thing as negative 2 over 1 as a fraction. So we've got enough. Now we could keep going if we wanted to, down 2 and over 1, down 2 over 1 as many times as we want, because in a linear function, the slope is constant. It's a constant rate of change. So, but as we go, we're simply going to turn around and come through here, draw us a line that passes through those points, and voila, we've got that one graphed. Okay, so there's the third way. So the fourth way, the final way is, well, what if they give us something like this in standard form? Well, the good news is in standard form, we've got two options. We can plot 2 points for it. We could come up with 2 points and just pick two random x values and plug them in and solve for it. Or we could write this as an equation. So kind of your choice on this one, on what you want to do, whether you want to turn around and do you a chart and go back to like we did on the very first one. Remember in the first one we started plotting, we had 2 points. So we could go through here and we could pick a couple of points. We could pick some x values. Pick a couple of x values and say, well, hey, what if x is 1, and find what the y is, and go, hey, okay, well, what if x is 0, what's the y going to be? Or if we didn't want to use 1 here, we could use 4 and just kind of pick some points here and figure out what they are and go ahead and solve for this one if we wanted to. And we could plug that in. 3 times 4 would be 12. Subtract 12 from 24, so that would be 12. So 4 times y has to be 12, so y would have to be 3. So there's 1 point there. Plug in a 0. 3 times 0 is 0. That means 4 times y has to equal 24, so then y would have to be 6. So there's 2 points right there. We could plot that. We could take 3x plus 4y equals 24, and probably what most of you are most accustomed to is we could just solve this. We could get it to where it says y equals. So we want it to say y equals, well, we've got this 3x here, so we need to subtract 3x from both sides, just because we always do the opposite. That leaves us with a 4y here equals, now 24 minus 3x, we can't take away x's from constants, so we just simply write it. The x comes first, the negative 3x, and that's a positive 24. Okay, now what do? Well, now we divide everything by 4. And so what do we find? We find we have the equation y equals negative 3 over 4, 3/4 x plus 6. We're going to leave it as a fraction because we need it as a fraction to go ahead and plot that point. So if we did the first one, we'd go up here and start at the origin, go 1, 2, 3, 4, up 3, 2, 3, right there. The second point's at 0, 6. Start at the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's that one. Well, what happens if we'd used our equation down here? What if we used this equation we found? Well, it says start at 6. We've already got that point. What's it say? It says go down 3, vertically change 3, 1, 2, 3. Horizontally change 4. That's 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, it gave us the exact same points. That's because it doesn't matter which method we use. They have a constant slope. It's a linear function, so it's always going to be the same. So we could go again. I could go down 3 and to the right 4 and find the point. I could have also gone up here and gone up 3 and to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and found a point. And they're all going to lie on that exact same line. So if we turn around and do this, we could draw a line. It's going to pass through all of these points. So that's it. Graphing a linear function 4 ways. 4 ways when we look at them. Okay. So let's go back to the first one. We can be given 2 points. If so, we simply plot the 2 points and draw a line that goes through them. Second way is, well, what if they give us a point and a slope? Well, we can plot our point and then use our slope, our vertical change over our horizontal change, our rise over our run to find where the next point plots on the graph. We can take it in slope-intercept form, in y equals mx plus b form. We can plot the y-intercept first, and then use the slope to get to the next point, give us 2 points. Because all we need is 2 points. And then lastly, what if they give it to us in standard form? Well, in standard form, we can either find 2 points by picking some x values and plugging it in, or we can rewrite it in slope-intercept form. So hopefully just a quick review for you on graphic linear functions. Hopefully not too difficult, and we will see you back in class tomorrow. Have a great evening.